Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Nay. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my Morphe eyeshadow palette collection. And so far, altogether, I have 20 palettes and still counting. So let's just get started. So the very first palette that I got is the Morphe 3A Deep Smoky palette. This is perfect for doing smoky eye looks, and I really like this. I got this palette on sale for like $3. And it's cute size and it's perfect for traveling. So yeah. The next palette that I have is the Morphe times Manny MUA Glam palette, and this is how she looks. As you can see, you have your neutrals and your pop of colors, and it comes with 2 highlighters. I would say this is a perfect palette if you're into like soft glam looks, and it's cheap too. It's only $20 on their website. The next palette that I have, this is a recent Morphe purchase. So this is the Make and Bank palette. As you can see, it comes with a sheet with the names on it, and it's pretty much like very annoying. But as you can see, you have like some green shades, your brown shades, and a pop of yellow, and your shimmers. So yeah, I still haven't played with it, but I really think this palette is gorgeous. And the next palette that I have is which is a recent purchase, is the Morphe Madison Beer Channel Surfing Artistry palette. And as you can see, it is your neutral tone palette, and it's perfect for everyday looks if you're into that type of like natural soft looks. So yeah, perfect. And as you can see, it comes with the names on the sheets. Highly annoying. The next palette that I have is the Morphe 35M Boss Mood. And I could say, out of all the palette collection that I have from Morphe, this has got to be my favorite one. As you can see, the color story is amazing. I feel like Morphe has done a good job with it. You have your purples, your burgundies, your orange, your greens, your browns, and the shimmers. It's just chef's kisses. I really haven't played around with this too much, so I just gotta put this on my rotation and find a use for it. All right. The next palette that I have is the Morphe 3503 Fierce by Nature, and I have played around with this palette. Sorry, I'm trying to open this. Sometimes the palettes are very hard to open. Okay. Alright, so this is how the color story looks. Like I was saying, like I played around with this palette a few times, and I can say that this palette, out of all the Morphe palettes, is pretty much a difficult palette to master. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's beginner friendly, so but it's still a gorgeous palette. This pressed glitter is just chef's kisses, and yeah, you have your burgundies, orange, browns, your pop of green. So yeah, I would say that some of the eyeshadows, like when put on the lid, they look the same, like this color Stamina and this color Domination. But other than that, you know, it's a good palette. The next palette that I have is the Morphe James. This is a Such a Gem 39S palette, and this is one of their beautiful large palettes, 39 eyeshadows. As you can see, it comes with purples and pinks, and you have a little bit of browns, and your toppers in the middle. And I really haven't played around with this. I probably did a few swatches, but you know, I'm a big fan of purple, so I know I had to get this palette. Their glitters are like Morphe's glitters. They're good, but they're not my favorite glitter formula. It's a bit chunky, but other than that, it's a gorgeous palette. Alright, the next palette, my very first palette and introduction to eyeshadow, is the Morphe James Charles palette. And as you can see, You have your basic colors. You have your greens, your blues, your purples, your reds, your orange, your browns. The ones in the middle is perfect for transition shades. And other than that, you know, I have no problem. It's highly pigmented, and I really enjoy this palette. Regarding James Charles, I have nothing to comment. I don't know the man, but you know, I don't really want to get myself into the whole drama regarding James Charles, so I'm just gonna leave my thoughts at that. But other than that, this is like a good palette for beginners. If you're like looking for your very first eyeshadow palette, I would recommend this palette. Alright, the next palette that I have is the Morphe 35F Fall into Forest. And as you can see, the majority of the eyeshadows are shimmers, and you have your bottom row of mattes. They did come out with the new reformulated, or like the new updated version of this palette. They have some new shades in there, I think, but I actually prefer like the old version. So this is perfect. Perfect for fall. If you're looking for a fall palette, this is it. Alright, the next palette that I have, this has to be my second favorite palette, which is the 35cc Everyday Chic palette. As you can see, you have your cool tone eyeshadows, and your glitter, and your pinks, your purples, and your emerald greens. This palette is so pretty. I used this a couple times. It's pigmented, it's creamy, smooth. I have no issues with this palette. So yeah, this is a beautiful palette. The next palette that I have is the Morphe Hotspot 35H. And this palette is, sorry, I'm gonna try to get this open, is your teals and your reds and your corals. I would say that this palette is for people who are like into color, who's more daring with their looks. The reason that I got this palette is because I wanted to try to see if I can do some colorful looks, because I usually mainly stick to neutral colors, and I felt like I should be more open to trying new shades. I felt like blues really don't look good on my skin tone, but you know, I still want to play around with it. Who knows, I might enjoy it. But I used it a couple times, and I think it's a pretty color. Morphe also did a good job with this palette. So if you're into color and you want to be creative, then I say get this palette. Alright, the next palette that I have is the Bronze Gold 35G. And this is how she looks. As you can see, you have your bronze colors, you have your golds, your browns, your shimmers, your coppers. This is a perfect palette for summer. I used it a couple times and I really enjoy it. Some of the colors, like, they come off like the same when you put it on your eyelid, like this color, burnt and then deep end. Some of them can be repetitive, so like this color, what is this? Naked, and this color, SPF, they come off the same color. They come off as the same color on your eyelid. So, but other than that, it's perfect. If you want a bronzy look for summer, then this is a perfect palette for you. Alright, the next palette that I got is the Morphe 24A Artist Pass, and this palette was promoted by the artist rapper Sweetie. So yeah, this is how she looks. You have your glitters, your neons, your toppers, and a bit of neutral colors, like toned down colors on top. So you can have your bright, you can go for a bright look, or you can go for a toned down look. And this is perfect for festivals, carnivals, concerts, or whatnot. So yeah, I used it a couple times. I'm not really a big fan of their glitter. I would recommend using a glitter glue because it's a bit chunky. So yeah, it's an okay palette, but it's not a bad palette, but it's not like the greatest. So yeah. Alright, the next palette that I have is the Morphe collaboration with Lisa Frank, and this is the Aliens palette. And as you can see, it's like a folder. And as you can see, it's another colorful eyeshadow look. Let me put this right here. You have your mirror right here, your heart-shaped mirror, and you know, you basically have your basic colors. I haven't used this yet. This is more for a collection than anything, so I'm sure that it's a pigmented palette, but I think I'm just gonna collect this and not use it and just keep this as a collection palette. So yeah. Yep. The next palette that I have is the Morphe 35S Sweet Oasis, and this palette was promoted by I Love Sari. I think that's how you pronounce your name. But I'm in love with the design, the front cover design of this palette. Morphe's been stepping up the game regarding their covers, but yeah. So this is how the palette looks. You have your cool tones, your neutrals, your pinks, and your teals. Like I said before, you know, I got this palette because I wanted to be more creative with my looks, especially this teals. So yeah, but other than that, I played with this palette a couple times, especially with the pinks. I know I say this is like awesome. This is an awesome palette, and it's a perfect, you know, like this is a perfect palette for summer. The next palette, which is a recent purchase, is the Morphe 35i Icy Fantasy. And as you can see, the names come on the sheet of the paper, which I don't understand, because they have so much space to put the names underneath the shadows. But anyways, as you can see, this is a pastel palette, and it's a beautiful colors. I haven't used this palette yet, so I gotta keep this in rotation. And yeah, I have nothing to say about it, but other than that, it's a pretty palette. The reason also I wanted to say that I didn't get this at first because I was kind of like hesitant to buy it because, you know, it's pastel, and I read some reviews online. People were saying that, you know, it comes off pretty ashy on people with tan or darker skin color. But, you know, just after watching some reviews, the majority said that you have to use, especially with people with my skin color, tan or dark tones, got to use a white base with this. So I'm gonna use this with the white base, and I'll let you guys know how the looks came out, or how the shadow performed with the white base underneath. So yeah. The next palette that I have, and which is a recent purchase, is the 35D Desert Bouquet. As you can see, they've been stepping up their design game. I'm really loving the floor design. As you can see, it has it in the back too. Okay, but anyways, at first I wasn't gonna like purchase this palette because online, like, the pictures doesn't do it any justice. So when I went to Ulta and I seen this person, I knew I had to get this palette. It's a beautiful color. It reminds me of flowers. That's the whole purpose. But yeah, I still haven't touched it. And like I said, I gotta put this in my rotation. I gotta find the perfect opportunity to use this palette. But then that is gorgeous. Alright, and the next palette I have, which is my third favorite palette, which is the 35XO. And this was their holiday 2020 holiday palette. And as you can see when you open her up, it is a pretty palette. I would say that this is a dupe to Huda Beauty's the new nude palette. So if you don't feel like spending like $67 or $65 on a palette, I would recommend going for this Morphe palette. You have your mauves, your pinks, your purples, your browns. So yeah, beautiful color, beautiful palette. The next palette that I have is the Jaclyn Hill palette. This is her very first palette. As you can see, this is a very beginner-friendly palette. You have your neutrals and you have your pop of color if you feel like being daring. I hardly use this, and as you can see, Like, the complaint that I have is that it gets very dirty. I don't know if you can see that, but I really enjoy the formula of this. I would say that this is Morphe's best formula in their palette, and I wish they used this formula on all their palettes, but you know, hey, can't complain, right? I mean, the quality is still good, but I prefer Jaclyn Hill's formula on our very first palette, which is this one. But yeah, perfect palette for beginners. And last but not least is the Jaclyn Hill palette volume 2. As you can see, I already used her and she's already dirty. Ugh, it's annoying. But anyways, as you can see, compared to our very first one, this is a bit more brighter with more brighter colors. But you still have your neutral colors. This is a perfect palette. You have your neutrals and your bright colors. I always say I tested this a couple times, and the formula is just perfect though. And you have your purples, orange, pinks, burgundies, your browns, and your black to deepen out the, you know, outer shadow or outer corner of your eye. So yeah, perfect palette. Okay, so that's all my Morphe palettes. And if you liked this video, please leave a comment and subscribe and like this video. All right, so awesome. I'll see y'all later. All right, you have a good day. Bye.